Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you yet another informational Progression Island review video where we talk about how Progression Islands work and kind of give our review here on the current Progression Island, what that's feel. Today we are looking at the Dark Forest Island. This is actually an old island with new stuff on it, so this is the first time they're rehashing island names, or they might be running out of island name ideas, what people are concerned with. But it isn't the same monsters. A lot of people thought Oros would be on it. A lot of people think Monster Clutch was going to be on it, and they were just going to use the same monsters from past events. No, that's not actually the case. For this one, Mega Ostium might have been a old monster. In terms of this event, I don't know if he was in the first Dark Forest event, but he's in this one, and if he is, he's the only one. And maybe Mudflow too, but that would be it. Those would realistically be the only two old ones from this event if they were in the first Dark Forest Island progression event. But yeah, so how progression islands work, basically it's a pool thing. You wait every 8 hours, you collect your items every 8 hours. That's when all the items come back up. So people just moderately log in every 8 hours, collect their 6 gold, collect their I think like 4 food or something like that. I wasn't able to get like the fourth food, so I was like, I'll just wait till it's several hours later. And 4 hours is usually when everything comes. I mean, not 4 hours, 8 hours is usually when everything comes back up again. Breeding and hatching eggs is the most pain, and I think those are like, that's why everyone logs in every 8 hours, because that's when everything is full, because that's the maximum wait is the breeding stuff, and that's annoying. People hate that, like absolutely hate the breeding reward progress. But yeah, so you wait every 8 hours, get your stuff, and then do it again. It's a progressive thing, as they call it, progressive island. I do believe they took away winning PvPs since of the nature of PvP nowadays. It's a lot harder to win fights, and I think they just decided to take the PvPs off. Just because it was just getting difficult for people. So it's like, yeah, we better remove PvP stuff, so you don't have to worry about PvP battles. I would say out of all the items, that was the easiest to do, just simply back in the old days, because PvP was a lot more funner, and there was a lot less broken monsters. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. Oh yeah, by the way, every time you start a new mission, or like as you can see here, I claimed my Sludger, and I'm all on Treasure, or Terrashire. The pool refreshes, like it spontaneously refreshes, so be sure to get your items. I'm gonna get my breeding item in the next hour here, because I have a Thunder Eagle. Oh yeah, that's also a good thing for these kind of event, for Progression Island, and just in maze, like in any like event that requires you to do breeding. I always recommend breeding Thunder Eagle times Thunder Eagle. Always gives you a Thunder Eagle, and it's always 4 hours. So by the time you breed 2 of these, you should at least get one breed item, essentially. There are also a land, item pickup boosts. So essentially, when you see a notification that there is a current item boost pickup at the moment, or item pickup, it means you can log in every 4 hours instead of every 8, and essentially pick up more items and get things done faster, and essentially get the things you want. Be sure to log into those days. Those are very important. Item boosts are especially huge when picking up stuff. So let's talk about the monsters here. Sludger. Sludger is a tad bit of an old rare. I do believe he was one of the first rares, or like he's just that's how old he is. He's just old rare. Shielding, as AoE shielding, not the most advised rare to use. He's one of the easier things to rank up, though I do believe his cells you can buy them in the shop. I would use more of the modern rares, to be honest. But yeah, he does shielding. I do believe did he remove positive effects? I think he had like AoE water damage, but he's a rare, so his stats aren't the best in the world for that. But I think the best thing he does is shielding. That's the extent of what I remember. I don't know if he did life regen, but I know he did shielding. I know he did AoE shielding of sorts. Terror Shear. I always liked this little guy here, this little cat monster. Well, I guess he's not too little, but this is a Alice in Wonderland Wonder Wonderland reference. This is a really strong epic because he's able to put possession on he's got an AoE possession and it has a 50% chance to land it. But the catch is if he actually does get the possession on you, it lasts for 2 turns. It's a huge duration. It's a huge powerful tool. A lot of people think it's garbage simply because it's not guaranteed like Ophiuchus. It still has the same severity though. So if you got Terror Shear, while it's not an Ophiuchus with the guaranteed, 2 turns, not like the 50% chance with, Terror Shear here. It still has the same severity. If you do get hit by this, you are not in a good position. It's never good to be possessed for over 2 turns. Or just like 2 turns in general. One possession is already hindering, but if you're controlled for 2, you might as well be controlled all the it just might be as well be in a you're at like 2 monsters and they have like 4 now. Or if they at least get 1, it's always like that kind of scenario. It's never good to be possessed, and it's also not good to be possessed for more than 1 turn. So it's really bad. Like, in terms of that situation, I'm not saying the monster is bad. I'm saying it's really good. In fact, he's got really good cooldowns. He's got a single target possession. I do believe he has an AoE magic damage. I think that was the possession skill, and he also has a nightmare skill. I do believe I run that. Overall, not a bad epic. I won't say he's the most broken epic in the game. There's quite a few of those. This is a really good, I will say overall though, it's a really good epic. I wouldn't say it's top tier, but I will say it is really, really good. At least it's a little bit under top tier. It is just a really good epic. The next reward is 10 Clivia cells. Basically, you just get 10 cells. As far as I'm concerned, this is clearable as soon as you get it. I would recommend just to gem it or pick up the item with the Thunder Eagle thing, that kind of feel. Because I think there was you need to breed 1 egg or something. It was always just a breeding quest. It's stupid. But yeah, it's skippable. I think it's dirt cheap to skip it. You might as well just skip it. And then head on to Mega Ostium, which is your next. This is the first legendary you get. And I will say there's a lot of, in all honesty, in terms of old monsters in this game, a lot of old monsters are really hindered by nowadays stuff. I think this is one of those few monsters that really doesn't care. Simply because of the nature of his base stats and his moves. His moves are suited. His moves and base stats are suited to the point where it doesn't matter how really old it gets. Is there fire monsters that can do more fancier stuff, true, but this guy basically gets the job done. I will say out of all the fire monsters to get their ultimate, this one's terrifying. I will say in terms of art design for his ultimate is pretty good. He's pretty much summons a larger version of himself and he just eats everything. It's really cool. It flex AoE dazing too, so that's bothersome. If you get hit by the enemy at Mega Ostium's ult, that's annoying. It really, really is. Just to have lowered power and the slight chance to miss is never good for you. He's also able to apply double damage precision, plus it also gives him 70% of his stamina back, which is really good. Really, really, really good. One of the better self buffs in the game for an old monster. He does have one of the better older, he's one of the better older monsters. He's got a really good buff in the game. That's an extremely good self buff to have. And he's in 2 books. I will say that you will be using this monster a lot, which is essentially good. But again, this is even if this monster is rather old, he's still really good. He's still extremely good. Spammable. I think he a spammable 65 damage skill, or something crazy like that. He has a strong spammable skill. Single target stun, AoE burning. Self buff again. He has the 45 damage skill, I believe. And the AoE ultimate, which is really good. And that's it. Really strong damage overall. Really good damage dealer. I think I might be able to rank him up to rank 2. I could rank him up to rank 1 if I wanted to, I think. But yeah, it's one of those monsters, though, that I only have 2 rune slots open, and I don't really feel like spending gems on it. I feel like saving my gems for other stuff. The next reward after that is another casings of Clivasse cells. This is Alpha Clivasse. It's not just Clivia. This is actually its product, his product. It's Clivia's product. Clivia had spread his spores all over the place, and apparently the community missed one, and this was the worst one they could have ever missed. I actually thought this would be a breeding event monster. It wasn't actually a breeding event monster. We'll go more in depth what he does later, but it's just kind of what was my initial thought. I thought it was just going to be a breeding event where you could breed this thing. I was like, oh, that would be so cool if you could breed it. Nah, it's like I thought it was like with the angular fish monster, but no, it's not. Watch, they'll do that in the future, though. They'll totally pair those 2 monsters up. I can see that. That's going to be a future breeding event. I see it. Speaking of seeing the future, we got our boy Ulit. Ullitri here. Ullitri, I personally think that Ullitri is good. Strong debuffer in the game. He has a 1-turn cooldown, AoE blind, really, really good, really, really annoying for enemy teams to deal with, simply because it's constant, annoying, it's piss to miss your attacks, it's just annoying. He also excels in AoE random debuffs. He has actually he has two random AoE debuffs. It's like 1 random status effect. You can virtually get anything. So it could either do you justice or it could do you nothing. It's kind of like a D&D. I kind of build mine for like a D&D style, like random chance stuff. I like it. I personally think it's a fun monster. I think it's a good monster to have ranked up in general. I think it's a good counter for Joustar, simply because he can remove negative effects from his allies with one of his AoEs that does apply a random negative effect on the enemy, which is really good. I wish in all honesty, he's been up several times. He's been like, he was in this event. He's in this event, and was in the Abominations maze. Well, he was in that one too, but I mean like the first one. But the second one, they did like a second Abomination maze, which was really quick. They did a sequel for it, but they did, and it was one of those times where I just wasn't I wasn't really active at that time, so that's kind of a bummer, because I would love to get this guy ranked up. I love this monster. It's really good. Reminds me of like Baldur's Gate's Beholder. That's how much I like this thing. I do believe this is doable. Getting to this point, if you actually try it in this event, you can get this monster. I will say I think Ullitri is the doable monster. I think it stops being doable once you reach Ophiuchus. I don't think anyone can get anyone without spending more. I will say without spending a little bit more gems, but let's say you just spend little to no gems, you could probably get up to Ullitri, probably. But if you wanted to get a little bit farther than that, you might have to spend a few on certain missions to get the last monster. In all honesty, if you were to complete this entire event, you could actually get the Alpha Clivias tier that you get to rank 1, which is awesome. I don't think they've done that before. Like they have a progression event and they could just rank it up, which is neato. So yeah, that's the Ullitri. The next node is 20 more Clivias cells. In all honesty, if you fail to get the Clivias, if you honestly fail to get him, you pretty much can get 40 cells of him just by playing this. This might be up to this point too. You could probably do if you skip it. It's not. I don't think it would cost too much gems. I think it's with these cell notes. It really doesn't cost all that much to skip it. And in all honesty, you would get like in total, if you just did these, if you just picked up these 3, cell nodes, these 10, 15, and 20, you get 45. So if you just hold on to these in the future, when there's like cell trailers, they usually do cell trailers for these kind of things. You'll probably pick them up for free. I mean, you didn't have to spend any whatchamacallits. You could have just picked them up, picked up the rest of it, the rest of the 35 cells needed to at least use Elementium to craft it. This monster is pretty good, by the way. I will say he is pretty much the more, I will say he's the more better trait and more DOT. You could say he's more meta than the other Clivias, the original Clivias, the daddy, the big old papa. He's got AoE. Oh, again, we'll talk about him a bit, but he's a really good monster, trust me. Ophiuchus, since we were just talking, it's interesting because Terrashear's right here, and we were just talking about Ophiuchus and his talk, but now we're just talking about Ophiuchus now because he's in this event too. I didn't even remember that, like up to this point, it's like, yeah, I'm going to mention like Ophiuchus when I talk about Terrashear, and oh, hey, look at that, Ophiuchus. So this is Ophiuchus. This is considered one of the best epics in the game simply because he has an AoE possession skill that lasts for 2 turns, and he has an AoE ultimate that is a 3 DOT proc. Applies to you with like bleeding nightmares and something else. I think it hits you with 1 more DOT. I can't remember what that DOT was, but I could... Oh, it's poison. Hits you with poison, bleeding, and nightmares. Crazy amount of DOT. This is like a 3 AoE DOT is just really good. But those are the main reasons you use them. You use them for the AoE poison, and you use... Not the AoE poison, AoE possession that lasts for 2 turns, and the ultimate, which is really, really good. It's extremely good. Some people actually run full speed on this man, not even team speed. A lot of people just think running team speed's the way to go. I like to think there's variations with quite a few epics nowadays. You can build them quite a few days nowadays in terms of epic monsters. Not many people love building full speed on their epics, but this is one that people will be like, hey, that's totally fine. If this guy runs epics, people want like, oh, you should totally run team speed. Why are you running full team speed? Not full team speed, full speed on Ophiuchus. You should be running team speed. People won't actually call you out for that. Because it's like, oh, dang, this guy's running full speed. I can't attack this guy. Because if this monster actually goes before you can deny it, this isn't fun for you. I will say getting possessed for 2 turns, again, isn't good for you. It's worse than being possessed for 1 turn. Like, 1 turn enough is a pain, but to be possessed for 2 is a long stretch. It's not good for you. But this is a good monster for you. I'm like saying, like in terms of the enemy standpoints, if they have to deal with an Ophiuchus, it usually doesn't go well for them. But again, this is a good monster, one of the best epics in the game. Pick him up. He's good. Next node is 10 Elementium, so they're giving us 10 Elementium, which is good. And the last monster, the big old prize, besides the 90 cells here, which basically gives you, in total, if you finish this whole entire progression map, you get, I do believe it was 135 cells. I can't imagine you being able to clear this more than once. I don't even think it's worth clearing more than once, because it's going to cost you more gems. But because there's not enough time to clear it more than once, because there's like 7 days. So that's a thing. But yeah, this is the last monster in the event. It's Alpha Clivias. This is the baby boy or girl of Clivia. He spread his spores around, and then this thing was born. He pulled a was that self-breeding or whatever, and this is his baby. This baby boy or girl. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really say. It just says Clivia spread his spores around, but yeah. But I don't think it matters of the gender. It don't matter what gender it is, because it is terrifying. Nonetheless, it is terrifying. It is in the Dragon book, and it's in Evil Legions. So what does this monster do? This monster does several scary things. One, he picked up his Pop's natural ability to lifesteal off others. I don't know the scaling of the lifesteal yet, but I'm assuming it's the same. I'm assuming it's both of his lifesteals are 100%, because Clivius himself has 2 single target skills that's 100% lifesteal. It's crazy, and he can make the damage of those do more by applying nature weakness, which is bonkers. That's high sustain. He holds poison immunity, unlike his dad with the immunity to death. Claviest here actually has immunity to poison, which is, even though it's not a immunity to die, deny immunity to die, but yeah, even though it's not immune to deny, it's better than having immune to insta-death. And having immune to insta-death is kind of like having no trade at all, realistically speaking. Only a handful of monsters are bothered by it. I think this would be one of them, simply because he does have access to insta-death skills. This is one of the first few monsters where it does have an insta-death skill, and it's not like a 4-turn long thing. It's like 3 turns, so that's 1 turn more helpful than a 4-turn insta-death. So this monster is pretty good at picking off mountain monsters, which is good because everyone's using Cryotan and everyone will for sure be using Agursus. So having this guy in your roster wouldn't be a bad idea. What else does this thing do? I think the big eye opener here is the fact that this thing can do an AoE poison and sunburn. Yeah, that's crazy. That's like that's 20% damage with a. I do believe it was like 20% DOT damage with like in total 20% DOT damage with 20% power reduction and 15% less accuracy. So that's bothersome to miss, like just have a slight chance of miss and to be doing less damage is extremely bothersome, and it's really, really good. He also holds an AoE possession skill, I believe. I do believe that was one of his skills too. This thing honestly reminds me of NAPS. You know, the anglerfish. They're totally gonna do a breeding event with this thing. I just feel it, man. I know it. They'll totally do it. Like, it would be Clivia and the NMPS and would make this thing. I feel like that's going to be a thing. If it's not, that doesn't make any sense. But this thing is terrifying. Strong damage. I don't know his stats yet because he's not on the wiki, but I do know his trait. It's immune to poison because it says on his page in the book, in the Monstergram. And so the last reward is 90 Clavastel. So basically, if you complete this entire event, you get a rank 1 Alpha Clivias, which is better than a none rank, like no rank. It is extremely better than no rank. Slightly more helpful against those higher rank monsters like 115 or like 120. You know, just anything that's ranked, anything that's ranked beyond 0 is relatively helpful against your fights against things that are like rank 3, like team race monsters. Very much so. And this guy has a bunch of neat things that can help you win. I will say, given the nature of, stuff nowadays, if you can actually get this guy to move before your enemies, if this thing actually winds up having an AoE insta-death kill, it would be relatively helpful for you because all you would need to do is stall out for 3 turns. So that would be a good idea. I'm finding like winning fights is really hard nowadays in terms of dealing with 130 monsters and Nemesis monsters. It's crazy. You just see them all the time. It's just nuts. But yeah, just to have some ranked up monsters is pretty good. So overall, I think this event is decent. I won't say it's better than the Gangster Source, not the Gangster Source, the Gangster event. With the Al-K9 and the Gangster Source and Alex Bone, with all those monsters in it. Those were, I think, way better. In terms of goodies, there was a bunch of goodies in that Progression Island. I will say this one's more so main monster boost. If you do finish this event, you get a stronger one of it, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty neat. Is it a lot more or less expensive than the last one? It's hard to say really, because there's more nodes with the the whatchamacallit here, the cells. I don't know how much. I'll just skip that. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. I think it's pretty neat. Hopefully I do hope you guys can at least get up to the point of getting Elitri. I think he is decent. I think he is relatively nice to have for Nature Wars. I find him useful. He also can hold essence. I will also like to add, this thing can also hold 2 essences, which is really good. It's one of the few monsters that can hold 2 essences, I do believe. So if you have like Uriel's essence and you run it on, that's bothersome to people. That is some extreme botheration. You could say your literally will become a eyesore if give him that. I like running him with the healing potion, healing essences too. That's always fun. And yeah, I do believe that's it. If you liked this video, hope you did. Yeah, like it. I'm Nib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.